Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it is time for a bench press day. I was really happy with this top set today. Really happy with it. Ironically, I did not have the work capacity to do a normal workout today. I had said in my last workout, even though I hit a really good deadlift and then did some accessory work, but I reduced volume, that I had a lot going on this week, right? So by the way, this is 5 reps. Did a nice good pause. I'll talk about that a little more later in there. Very happy with it. I felt like I left a grinder in reserve, right? So this is a good sign for my bench. My neural drive is high. My work capacity is not. I go to unrack my first set. I do 1 rep. This is going to be my 3x10 pause with 245, and then it's going to go on to do my incline. And it felt really heavy. Felt really heavy. I paused it, drove it up. It felt as heavy as that 5th rep on the 315. I just held it. It held heavy at the top. I racked it. I'm like, I'm just going to do a bunch of band work. And I ended up doing 12 sets of band press downs. So here's the thing. I'm not going to go into anything about my life. Nobody's business. I said I had a lot going on this week. Something even bigger happened on Tuesday. Okay. Something even more massive hit. And accordingly, I've had to go out and talk to a lot of people this week. I've had to do a lot of things. I've had to invest a lot of emotional energy into some very important matters. So, and it's not normal, just regular work stress type stuff. It was pretty serious. The sort of stuff that happened that most people would not just train for a week. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So that being said, I have to mitigate my stress a little bit. And what's interesting, and here's what I'm finding, my peak strength and my neural drive is great. It's great. Like that top set was phenomenal. When I went to do any other stuff, not only did I didn't want to come in and train today, actually, to be perfectly honest. I had to drag myself to the weight room. So I was really happy that peak set was so good. I'm like, I have no motivation today, and yet that set was great. I felt like I could have benched 375 for a max today, just based upon that set. Just walked in and just hit it. But when I went to do the pump work, there's nothing left. So I'm like, let me just go in and do these band press downs. Pretty much sets to failure. And here's something we can talk about with these. Yeah, obviously with some of these, as I'm really fatigued as I get into multiple sets, I am not actually locking. A lot of these I do lock, and people don't realize that. Number 1, the thing jerks really fast. Number 2, that is kind of as far as I can lock. Now some of these are not. But here's the thing to think about. When this has come up, people need to remember, number 1, band work. What are we doing? We're using it to build tendons, number 1, and it's going to build tendons in what we're doing. All right, number 1. Number 2, since when has the shortened position of any exercise ever determined its hypertrophic principles in the lab? Doesn't. In fact, triceps are one of the muscles that when they're tested for half reps, they see just as much hypertrophy on half rep as full reps. It is one of the muscles that is definitely an exception, just because of the power of that lengthened position. Okay, well, what's happening? Do I have the lengthened position? We're doing the full lengthened position. What we're essentially hitting is a point where the lockout gets too intense because of the accommodating resistance once we're fatigued, and we can't complete it. But here's the thing. We're getting the most effective part of the rep, which is the stretched part, right? Part where your elbow is bent. And we're getting a stretch reflex because we're hitting the ends of it, and then it's jerking it back towards that stretched position. All right, this is actually a very powerful stimulus. And anyone who's done these, and again, when I say this, I don't mean intentionally doing a short rep, because I'm actually not doing it on purpose. So that's the difference. Understand that. I am hitting to the point to where it restretches and jerks me back down. Okay? I'm actually hitting a point in it where it's jerking me back down on each rep. So I'm not actually saying, hey, I'm going to come in and do a half rep. I'm actually attempting to do the full rep. So understand the difference. So what ends up happening? We get jerked through a stretch reflex into that movement. And anyone who's done these like this and done a set to failure, if you don't understand what I'm talking about and you've never tried these, come in and grab a set, even with heavier bands like that, and take a set to failure if you've never done these, and then see what happens to your triceps a minute later. If you've never done these before, your tricep may cramp so hard that you can't function. You'll also find them possibly cramping later that day. So anyone who wants to argue it's not an effective training stimulus, well, you've got another thing coming. Now, keeping in mind, I do skull crushers most weeks right now too. We do the skull crushers through their entire range of motion on the free weight exercise. Okay. Keep in mind, I did 3 sets of them earlier this week to almost failure. So we're getting that work. And I feel like with this, again, I want that work capacity. This will help with all of it because oftentimes when I'm doing my volume work, I feel like the lockouts limit me on the final reps. So this actually, I feel like it carries over to my volume work on my benching. So I like these, but the thing is 12 sets. This is an enormous amount of stimulus. My triceps were pumped and hurting all the way through. But I'm like, since I can't press today and I don't even feel like rowing, let's just hammer these triceps with this. Because I've done this up to this many sets before in the past. Back when I got my close grip to 365. So I've conditioned myself to be able to do that many. We're good. But again, I do need to really watch my overall fatigue this week. I'm still training. But what ended up happening today, we did this set of benching. Now, is there a training response to this? Absolutely. Keeping in mind, my max bench right now is the best I've hit on camera is 365. This is as heavy of a weight as I hit at my last meet, and I'm doing rep work with it, paused rep work. There is a training response. I would possibly get some adaptation just from this one set. And we're coming behind it and doing all that tricep work, which will absolutely cause a training response. So pecs and things probably got some response from this workout. Triceps 100% dead. Keep in mind, this is trailing off of a really solid Monday workout. Monday workout was solid, real solid. My net week is a positive. Net week's a positive on this. So I'm happy with it. And in the meantime, I don't know yet how tomorrow's workout's going to go. I'm going to play it by ear and then move forward from there. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.